Hello, Tribe. Welcome to the first episode of Lighting in the Moon Radio. I'm your host, Chris Abert. This episode is brought to you by Dream Nexus Podcast and Connector and is for promoting the upcoming event, Lighting in the Moon, set to be July 27th to 28th, with the pre-party starting on the 26th. It will be held at the New Haven Native American Church Ceremonial Event Grounds in Ava, Missouri. Allow me the pleasure of introducing David Block of the music project The Human Experience. David is an incredibly talented musician and artist and shares a message of using art and music to transcend language so we can connect and inspire one another to return to nature and leave the world better than we found it. Hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. Can't wait to see you at Lighting in the Moon. Thank you for listening. How are you doing, David? It's great to have you on the air.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I'm doing great. I've an overnight painting a mural in New York City, so haven't slept very much, but full of lots of inspiration.
That's awesome. When I called you, you were in the middle of painting that. You said you were painting it with your wife?
Yeah, we're working on something together, which has been really cool. And I had this idea where we're doing this really big wall that's all I am statements, like I am present and I am inspired and all this stuff like that. Anyway, we decided that I would paint one, she would paint one, and we alternated. So we did that till like 4 a.m. and finally fell asleep. And then woke up this morning at the venue and kept going.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really cool to work on stuff like that together, and I think it's a really beautiful concept for sure. I'm pretty sure we're doing an art wall at Lighting in the Moon, so I'd love to see if you could throw some paint on there. That'd be cool.
That is entirely possible.
So how are you feeling about Lighting in the Moon?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Haven't been doing a lot of festivals this summer, mainly because I've just been writing and producing so much new music. So it's nice. I kind of said no to a lot of things, and this looked really fun and really sweet, and some really good crew, beautiful music, and so yeah, I'm pumped about it. Actually, I think it's going to be a really amazing event.
I think so too. I'm super excited about it. I've been working with Eric on it for a few months now, and it's just been a beautiful creation. It's just like a whole lot of really awesome synchronicities came together to make it possible, and there's a great lineup, and I'm super stoked that you're coming to play there. I've been really digging into your music since we pretty much started it, and just going back all the way to that beginning, one of your first songs on your SoundCloud, the Medicina, is it? Yeah, Medicina, and like the story behind that, I saw that on your website about how you had linked up with what's his name? Got it here.
Jeremy,
yeah, we got Jeremy.
Right.
Jeremy. Is Critical Beats his project?
It was. I mean, I don't think it's been happening for quite a while anymore, but that was his project, and it was really interesting.
That's cool. Yeah,
taking those samples and from the Amazon.
Yeah, I went back and I looked at that and I played it today. I was just like laying down. I'm at my friend's studio here. I just played it, and I could feel the bass, so I was like laying down and listening to it, and yeah, it's just really beautiful, the message that's behind your music. I don't want to say it for you, but like you, and I think one of your descriptions here, you were saying how you're wanting to carry like the voice of the Amazon through your music. So, so what are some of your thoughts or feelings about that? Like what inspires you about that message? Like what does it mean to you?
I mean, beyond just the Amazon, it's really nature and our world. And in the greater humanity, and how to interweave that into the sounds that I've been creating, which have changed a lot over the years, and there's constant evolution, and especially as I find new artists to collaborate with, travel to new places, those kind of influence the kind of music and things that I'm sharing in the world. But I'd say the common thread would be that I have a very deep reverence for nature and a very deep connection with the natural world. And so I've just always tried to infuse the lessons that I've learned from, whether it's, a nice long hike or meditation, and kind of infuse that into the sound. Just really also paying a lot of attention to space and form. And actually just did a little presentation at my art gallery show here in New York the other day about the kind of link between music composition and a visual composition, and how important it is to leave space as much as it is to add forms. So I get a lot of that from nature.
It's interesting to think about the correlation between space and nature itself, and how space is just kind of like a womb, everything is in space,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. Like you're really trying to just bridge people back to nature through your music, and I can feel it. Your music is very activating and very, I don't know, it has this a feeling of like this continuous opening to it. It reminds me a lot of ayahuasca itself. It's I don't know, it's got something to it.
Yeah, there's a certain kind of unfoldment happening.
Yeah.
And nature does a really good job at well, I mean, sometimes it leaves space, sometimes it just piles shit on there, but it's just hard. It's funny, I was walking down the street, because we live in Brooklyn, and I was walking down the street with my wife, and we saw this abandoned lot, and in the last 2 months, it just went from being like barren to like an entire jungle growing in it. I was just like, wow. Look at that. Nature did not waste any time moving in there. It took over all that space. But then sometimes you look at things that are less crazy, like redwood trees, like old growth redwood trees, and you just see like how amazing the spaces are between them. There's just so much space underneath the canopy. But which is totally different than like the Amazon, which is like every single thing in the universe. Thanks to nature competing to survive. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like it's almost like I like to think of it like we're all like really still underwater. Like even in this planet itself, it's like it's all still space. It's like those deeper and deeper densities, like in the jungle. It's like it's kind of squished together. It's like just teeming with like just abundance of life. And it's really cool to hear that like within like jungle like music that has influences from the Amazon, or like the cultural, like the Icaros, or just anything. You can just hear all the life, and it's like no wonder that like ayahuasca and things like that, that's where they would something like that would come from. It's just jam packed together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and all of that, all of the wisdom of these plants and everything, it's I like the way it's seeping into mainstream culture. I only brought it up because I'm sitting in this place called the Assemblage, which is in Manhattan, which is this big, really interesting co-working, co-living kind of members club thing. But there's a lot of really interesting entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, really interesting people. But on all the walls, the whole place are Shipibo fabrics from the Amazon. And it's just like wild. I'm like, geez, I would never expect these things to be in a place like this. But it's, it's like these plants have their own agenda.
Yeah.
And how they're working their way. Yeah, they have a whole thing. It's like people always think it's like, oh, well, humans are above animals and animals are above plants. And it's like, well, how do you know that? You know, like,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know. Maybe plants are the ones that are like, you stupid humans
Yeah.
fighting and arguing over what you think is right and wrong. Look how happy I am sitting here being a tree.
Yep.
I'm just a big boss man tree, just hanging out. Fucking dumbass humans answering all over the planet. You know, we need to act more like our plant friends.
That we do. That we do.
Yeah.
That's what I love so much about this space. The ceremony grounds that the festival is going to be held on is where we have regular peyote and ayahuasca ceremonies with the Native
Really? I
Church.
did not know that.
Yeah, yeah. And so we've been getting in touch with nature for the past 5 years or so with that. And there's definitely, I think there's just an energy to it, you know, of reconnecting and to just be in balance with nature, be balanced with each other, and work together in harmony and love each other. For one, to be able to, like, you know, hug somebody for more than 30 seconds or look someone in the eye,
Mm-hmm.
you know, things we don't
Totally.
often get, just even simple things like that.
Definitely not in New York, too. You know,
Right.
one thing is like, yeah, oh my God, it's insane. One of my favorite things about what makes a great festival, in my opinion, is beyond the music lineup, which, you know, I think is obviously important, but even in a way equally, if not more important, is the venue and the location. You know, so it's like I've gone to festivals with pretty crappy music as a whole, and just gorgeous places. And I'm like, oh my God, I just want to hang out and camp here and just be at this place. And it's great that there's music and all the other stuff, but it's always such a blessing when you get to go to a festival that's in a beautiful location, especially if you've been doing cool medicine work there and stuff like that.
That's what I love about this place. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my favorite places to go. I've been going for like 2 years now. And there's this big open field. It's all about 30 acres, big open field. There's hiking trails that go along the cliffs, and there's the clear river. It's the Bryant River. It's always pretty much cool most of all of the year. Runs clear. There's a few different places you can jump on and stuff. There's a sandy beach, and yeah, we'll have some workshops too. We have the Lakota directional poles down there by the river, so we'll have the medicine tribe camp out down there with acoustic jams and stuff, and some workshops in relation to the directions. And yeah, it's gonna be wonderful. So it's the energy in the land is just it's medicine in and of itself. There's just something about it just being there. Yeah, you'll feel it when you get there. It's
amazing.
Just blessed land. It's just a very, very blessed space. And we're also building a community out there too. So we'll keep the event grounds, you know, mostly as event grounds, but we have about 400 acres around it. We're turning into an intentional community with farming, with greenhouses and hugelculture,
really,
food forestry, and yeah. And we're also releasing a couple of cryptocurrencies and wanting to do this pretty much all over the world, really, starting off here. And we're connected with a few different places around the world as well, at a few different organizations. But yeah, we're wanting to bring more light to our bioregion and ways we can address it, and healing our environment, and practicing sustainable farming methods. And
how many people will live in this community?
That depends on how we scale it out, but it could be upwards of you know, I'd say 50 to 100 at first, and then more. We plan to get more properties surrounding it too. So we would like to.
How many acres is it currently?
Currently, it's 400, and we're in the next couple hundred years. The next couple of years, we're looking to get about 1,000 more around it.
Wow. And there's water and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. That's kind of the dream, right? Because it's like we've grown to such. It's just we're grown to. There's just Dalai Lama quote. It's like, we have more devices, but we're less connected than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting how to think things were like just 75 years ago. I mean, things are that way in many parts of the world, but almost anywhere in the U.S., except for the major metropolitan cities, like even 100 years ago, it was just local, it was communities and people supported each other. And it was this more village mentality in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
And so people could raise their children together and farm together and eat together. And there was still a sense of autonomy, but you just did so many more things together.
Yeah.
And we want that. And it's actually something that next time we talk, I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the community projects that I'm a part of, especially within the arts and artist in residency programs that I'm working on developing.
Yeah, I would love to hear about that. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. There's been a really amazing synergy too between our community that we want to build and also the local city of Ava. We've got a 3-acre property in town. I've actually been staying at and managing. We're going to do greenhouses there and have permaculture and all kinds of, like, we want to make it like an art garden food forest pretty much. And
Nice.
and we want to get the community involved with that place there and some other spots in the city. We already had, I had a volunteer come out that was able to get his community service probation hours signed off for helping me out for a few days. It was like the first one. We thought of it, and then we saw some kids walking by the other day, and there was school, and one of them had said he needs some community service. So we're like, sure, let's give it a shot. And he helped us plant some pawpaws, figs, and kiwis. So it's like, all right, cool.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to coming out. It's going to be a really nice time.
Yeah, I'm super, super excited to see you there. So it looks like we're getting kind of closer to the time you were wanting to get to going in not too long. So I was going to ask you what, because this is one thing about the space is with ceremony, a lot of times, before we enter the ceremony, we state what our intentions are, and this is a very sacred land. To me and to a lot of people that come here, I think it would be a beautiful thing. It would mean a lot to people that follow you. If maybe you had an intention in mind that you'd like to say for lighting of the moon.
Well, I would have to, let's see. Let me feel into that, because I can say what I have an intent. My intention for people who come and experience what I'm offering at Lighting in the Moon is to really have a deeper sense of connectedness to nature and to each other and to themselves. So just this deeper, stronger sense of connection. I think music is really interesting because it's universal language. So it speaks to part of our being on a much deeper level than I think very often that we really know or comprehend with our mind. Actually, in ceremony, ayahuasca ceremony, the spirit of music came to me and really reminded me of what the power and the magic of music really is, and just not take it lightly. So I'd say my intention for myself is to always remember that when I'm sharing, to really stay centered and grounded in my offering, and that other people receive that. I would say that feels like that would, not just for Lighting the Moon, but just in general, I'm trying to bring that of just really staying centered and grounded and knowing that every single offering I make is to build and create more connectedness. It's just because I feel like we're born into this world, and the first thing we do is we're separated, right? You cut your umbilical cord, you come through like a wormhole, and you're out all of a sudden from this place where you had everything, and you had warm, food, shelter, everything in the womb, and then you're just separated. And the whole rest of your life, you're trying to figure out how to get back to that space of connectedness. And I feel like music has the opportunity to do that. And community is a great way to do that, because human beings need connection. You know, it's like, unless you have the right tools, being alone can be a form of torture. If you do have the right tools, it's very enjoyable. So if you've never sat in Vipassana, for example, look into Vipassana meditation. Change my life, might change yours. But yeah, that sense of connectedness is something that I've always been wanting in my life, and music has given that to me, and festivals and celebration and community has brought that to me. So I hope that I can bring some of that to you too.
Beautifully said. That's a very wonderful intention. Thank you for sharing that. I'm grateful for you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I'm looking super forward to seeing you at Lighting in the Moon and chatting more about community. And there's going to be lots of presentations going on, lots of opportunities for you to learn more about what we are doing.
Amazing.
And I'll do my best to fill you in when I see you.
Yeah, please do. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to try to come a little bit early and get to enjoy everything. And yeah, really look forward to seeing you. I'll have so much new music to share with you guys. I think you'll really enjoy it. So
excellent.
See you out there.
All righty. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, bro. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That message was so life-changing for me. Continue to walk in your God-like divinity. The only time you step out of it is when you make excuses for yourself.